Welcome back, Heather.
Yeah, favorite day of the week.
Yeah, the poor people that watch both Sell Like a CPCU and How to CPCU got a double dose of just me last week.
Oh
So
wow.
I'm sure they are happy to see. We're happy to see Precious earlier and you during this time slot. So help break it up a little bit. But anyone who is new to the program, this is How to CPCU. We are put on by volunteers of the CPCU Society. I am Matt. This is Heather, obviously. As usual, like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, retweet. We do take live comments and questions, so if you would like to be involved in the proceedings today, definitely throw your thoughts and your questions into the comments section of whatever platform you are viewing this on, and we will take them and you'll get your 15 minutes of fame, or maybe 30 seconds of fame, depending on what you have to say. But so we have a really interesting episode today. We are continuing down this line of introducing people to the awesome interest groups that are within the CPCU Society. So go ahead, Heather. Who are we talking about today?
Yeah, we're talking about the risk management and loss control interest group. We've got Faith Kring, we've got Vicky Hodges, and we've got Shane Leija to talk to us a little bit all about their interest group and what's going on in the world of risk management and loss control today.
Yeah, definitely. So, how about everyone? We got a full house. So, how about everyone kind of just like take a couple of seconds to introduce yourself, what you do a little bit, in your professional life, and then what position that you hold in the interest group itself. So, I'll start with you, Faith, and then I'll go to Shane and Vicky.
Okay. I'm the co-chair of the Risk Management and Loss Control Interest Group. We were separate groups up until January, and then we were merged together. So I came from the risk management side, and Vicky came from the loss control side, and we share the chairship. I'm a risk manager at Growmark. Growmark is an agricultural supply cooperative in Canada, U.S., and in Mexico. I'm the director of safety and as well as insurance end. So I handle anything from a risk management perspective for us and our subsidiaries, as well as I oversee a captive insurance company. We're getting ready to set up another captive insurance company. And then we also have an insurance agency that I run the agency as well, and I'm over all our safety and loss control people. So a lot going on. I've got a staff of about 12, 13 people. So
Wow.
gives me some things to do.
Yeah, I would say. Well, thank you very much for taking the time. Sounds like you're extremely busy. Go ahead, Shane. Who are you? What do you do?
Hi, everybody. Good to be with you today. Shane Leija. I'm based in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So my paid job is as a business lines consultant with State Farm Insurance. So what that basically means is I work hand in hand with a territory of agents, working with them to grow our small business insurance products. So my primary responsibility there is market development, and I also work as a consultant to our underwriting department. As for risk management and loss control, I'm currently vice chair of that group. So glad to be with you today.
Awesome. Yeah, glad to have you. Thank you so much. And I was going to say, on a personal note, my mother's maiden name is Ledger, but spelled exactly the same way, Leger. So I was going to ask you if you were familiar with any of the North Jersey ledgers, but sounds like there might be a little bit of a different cultural background going on there.
A little geography.
Yeah, just a small amount. Yeah, I actually went to school at Tulane, so I am very familiar with Baton Rouge, and I spent many a evening that was blurry at the varsity in Baton Rouge. So some people know what I'm talking about. Jimmy Buffett pulled up a couple of times in the varsity unannounced, and by the time he was done with his set, the place was filled with thousands of people. So, definitely an interesting environment down in Louisiana. So thank you very much, Shane. Vicky, who are you? What do you do?
Well, I'm Vicky Hodges, and I am the risk management loss control co-chair along with Faith. And like she said, I came from the loss control interest group. And I also work for State Farm. I'm in our Bloomington office, and I'm an analyst in our property and casualty underwriting department. I have primary responsibilities for wildfire and earthquake in a catastrophic exposure underwriting unit, and I manage or help to manage the wildfire exposures, earthquake for the enterprise. And I work with underwriters around the country on the mitigation that they might do in those areas. And I've been around in this particular role for probably about 5 or 6 years. Been with the industry
Wow.
34 years.
Wow. Wow. That's incredible. Look, Faith, me and you are going to have to be simpatico because we're outnumbered here by state farmers. So we don't want to get voted off the island, if you know what I'm talking about. Seeing as how as y'all are in the majority, Heather, I will give you first crack. What do you think people want to know about the now combined risk management and loss control interest group?
Yeah, we just like for you guys to give us a brief description of like the types of things that your particular interest group does to bring awareness to risk management and loss control in our industry and with other CPCUs as well. And I'll throw that to Shane first, and then you, Vicki and Faith, you guys feel free to hop in afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Heather. So, we try to be very proactive, multiple things going on there. So we have multiple people that are on our leadership committee. And so multiple people heading up different initiatives. So, for example, we have some people that are on a social media initiative. So we recently stood up, a LinkedIn page for risk management loss control, engaging on the Interact site on CPCU. We also do student outreach. So that's kind of one of my passions as well. So, for example, going back to my alma mater, every semester and talking to where they actually they do have a risk management and insurance program, degree program. So going there every semester and just talking to the students about what I do, what they do, and just helping answer any questions they might have about or misconceptions they might have about, pursuing a career in risk management and insurance. We're certainly very active in webinars. So again, trying to take advantage of a large pool of professionals of risk management and loss control to share their knowledge with, the CPCU Society, or CPCU Society membership. There's a few things. I'm sure Vicki and Faith can shed some more light on that.
What do you miss, Vicki?
Well, he did a lot of the things. We really think that we create the IGs themselves kind of create this invaluable opportunity for the members to kind of connect and network, as well as, be able to access some of the informational resources, best practices, and leadership opportunities. One of the reasons that I have continued to be involved with CPCU is early in my career, I was on the management side of the house and have, traveled to a few different areas with State Farm. But in order to stay in some of those leadership type of opportunities, CPCU offered that without my current role where I have no direct reports. So one of the things that we can do is offer, different types of things that you can do from a leadership standpoint to keep yourself current and relevant, with what's going on, and keep your skills up to date.
Awesome. All right, fill in the blanks, Faith. Take us home. Wait, what else does
Take us home. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, what else does the interest group do that maybe folks might not know about?
What I think we always start out with what's on the risk manager's mind. So what are the current things that are are happening out in the world that people are coping with in their jobs. And, COVID's one good example, and risk managers have to deal with, bringing them back to work. And right now we're looking at how do you do business income worksheets and everything when part of the business has been shut down. So there's all kinds of opportunities like that risk managers are dealing with. And then we look at our resources and also the other IGs at CPCU. So in a lot of cases, we'll involve underwriting or we'll involve claims or something. We have these joint webinars just to bring the whole scope of CPCU to a particular problem or whatever we're doing. So we try to stay relevant. We try to stay current on the current things that are going on.
Fantastic.
Does that bring us home?
Yeah, no, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So we have a good foundation. So what direction you want to go in here, Heather?
Yeah, I know, obviously, you as an interest group you're unique, but you're almost like, to me, you're almost foundational for like all the other interest groups that are out there, because without risk management, everything else is going to go haywire. So and without the prevention that we do, everything else goes haywire as well on the loss control side. So what is it, and what do you three believe is one of the biggest things that's facing the risk management and loss control industry today? And this may be a varied answer. I'd just like to get your opinion. What are the biggest things that are facing that side of the insurance industry, and how do you think that CPCUs should better learn about those types of the risks that are facing us as an industry today? So we'll go backwards this time. Faith, we're going to let you kick us off.
Okay, I think, and I don't think it's a surprise to anybody, whether you're in risk management, whether you're in loss control, whether you're in underwriting, or what side you're on, or agent, the biggest thing that we're facing now is talent drain. A lot of people are retiring. A lot of people are going to other possessions or whatever, but it's a huge problem everywhere is finding the talent, which I think CPCU fills that niche, because the whole goal of CPCU is the education training of the next leaders. And I think it's the place where everybody, we get our leaders from here, and it gives us an opportunity as an IG to help grow those leaders to fill in some of those spots. So,
awesome. What do you think, Vicki?
Well, not just in particular to risk management and loss control, but the insurance industry as a whole. I think one of the top things that is an emerging risk, if you will, is, and it's been all over the news, is the cyber risk that the insurance industry is facing, and how you cover those types of losses. And it's just most recently been, in the news with the pipeline. There's been some other insurance carriers that, have not so much ransomware, but they've been hacked, and you got big lawsuits from the policyholders saying, you told me or you shared on your website that you were going to protect me, and now my data is being sold, or used to open up unemployment claims. So the industry has really got to wrap its arms around how do we get a handle on the cyber risk, and what can we do to prepare for those types of situations? Because preparation is half the battle.
It's a good thought. What are your thoughts, Sean, on that, Shane?
Yeah, look, I like good points by both Vicki and Faith. I would agree with Faith. I think probably the biggest challenge insurance industry faces is the talent drain. And, I just think about myself actually as a good example. I mean, I'm not a risk management insurance major. My background is in finance. Didn't see, if you'd asked me when I was in college, you would ask me what I would be doing when I graduated college. I would not have told you I would be 23 years in and an insurance career. So think back to today. But, that's definitely a blessing there that I found my place here. But what my larger point is, I think we just need to be very proactive and aggressive, I think, in getting the word out on what the opportunities are in the risk management and insurance industry. Again, I'll just use myself as an example. I didn't know much about insurance other than I had an agent that I paid, I talked to every now and again. And so if I didn't want to be in sales, then so those are, I think the more we can do to get the word out to students, college students, even at the high school level, just to educate them on what the true opportunities are in risk management and insurance. Basically covers the span of anything you're going to do in business. Better off in the industry.
I'm looking around right now, Matt, and I'm saying, "Where's Mike Caselny?" Because there.
I can tell you he liked the broadcast on Facebook, so he's around somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah,
His ears might be ringing.
The interest groups of late, and I'd like to ask you guys what you think, because I love how you're talking about engaging the next generation, Shane. That's the groundwork that interest groups can lay today, and how can we do this? So I just love to get you guys' thoughts on the best way that the interest groups could get involved to be able to really plug in with some of the colleges that are local in your area. I know you talk about, going to the college there in Baton Rouge and talking to the risk management students there. But how do you convince that next generation that this is such an amazing career for you, and there is so much opportunity, because you can step into just about anything in this industry today. So I'll throw that back to you, Shane, and because I know you have a kind of a passion and an interest for that. And then Vicki and Faith, feel free to hop in afterwards.
Well, I think we're going to have to meet the next generation where they are. We can't expect them to come to us. So whether that's finding opportunities to go in person to speak with them. What a thing to say these days, right? In person. But on the heels of COVID. But social media. Certainly most of the younger generation very engaged there. So I think we need to be we need to have as a CPCU society, as a insurance industry, just being proactive and having a dedicated effort to use the social media platforms and any other platforms we can take advantage of, really get the message out of what the opportunities are. Because I think most kids, probably most adults probably don't know what career paths are available in risk management.
So are you already thinking of TikTok videos that you're going to be shooting, or what?
I have some good recruits. I have two college students that could help me with that.
I'll tell you what, that is I don't want to cut off Faith and Vicki in terms of their input on this one issue, but I think the big thing that folks can think about is use what's accessible to you. And quite frankly, if you're someone who's even, depending on what age you are, if you're anything older than mid-20s, using TikTok might be a completely foreign world. Grab a young kid. I mean, you have a child, you have, a niece or a nephew or something like that. I let them do it. They are the subject matter experts when it comes to using those platforms. So I think that's an interesting point. But to that extent, Vicki and Faith, free range. What do you think the essence of really kind of reaching the younger generation and attracting talent is going to be, specifically for the roles of risk manager or a loss control specialist?
Vicki, do you want to go first, or?
Sure, I can. I like what you said, Shane, and I think TikTok is probably a good venue. I just think that we need to get them while they're in school, or even before then. I took my college son to one of the outings that the local Central Illinois CPCU Society had for new designees, and he was my guest to introduce him to, hey, this is what's going on. This is a professional organization. And I do think that one thing that we have in common, the students like to eat. So, anything that has a little bit of networking and some food is a way to get to them. But social media takes us out further, but I want to say in person, talking about the different types of things that they can do in the insurance industry, and that, we're looking for you. You're looking for jobs. We've got everything that you need, and trying to present to them the opportunity. At least you get the message out. So I'm in favor of, the grassroots efforts, really getting out there and talking with the students, seems to work best. But if you want to reach more students, you definitely have to do social media.
Are you a big TikToker over there, Faith?
A TikToker, no. I'm about as IT incompetent as you can get. I always say I got people. that can do that. But,
you gotta have a guy. Yeah, you always gotta have a guy.
I got a guy, even though his number. But what we do is at Growmark in our risk management department, we have an intern every summer. In fact, this year we had one during the school year, as well as we probably get another one later. And we do it through the Spencer Educational Foundation, which is connected with RIMS. But one of the things that we do is that we actually get them out on properties. We give them an expense account. They drive a car around. They get to see what the risk management's all about. They go into meetings that we have, start with negotiations, meet with our underwriters and stuff like that. So they get the whole ball of wax. And I think out of all the interns that we've been doing about 20 years, I think every one of them I've convinced that risk management is the key. That's where they want to go. And we also have them work on the safety side. And we had one intern one year. Was I think after a drought we had here in Illinois. And so part of our environmental group, they do site cleanup. So we had to do a lot of tree planting. And so I sent them out to do tree planting for a day. And then they got to talk to our environmental people, explain, how all that works, and learn a little bit more about environmental insurance. So we engage them that way. I think having internships at your companies, if you have an agency or whether you have an insurance company, that's everything. These people, they don't know what they don't know until they get to experience it. I think that's where you get the true dedication. In fact, I've hired some of the interns that I've hired, they had in the future is now they're full-time employees for us. So I think that's an excellent opportunity. I've also been a risk manager in resident. So I've gone to universities and done some classes. Usually you're there about 3 days or something. And I think I did 5 classes and met with a Gamma Iota Sigma students, and you talk to them, they ask questions about what you do. So I'm right with Shane there. It's like you get to know them. I also have my husband's a professor at Iowa State or Illinois State, and he teaches finance. So I took a group. He's looking for a trip to take his students on. I was like, okay, let me introduce you to Travelers. Yeah. So I took him he took them to Travelers. I made all the introductions, and they're the D&O financial product department. They love finance students. And here's a whole nother career that finance students never imagined in the past that's available to them. So I think exactly what Shane said. They don't know what they don't know. So the more we can do to introduce them to what it is, I think we'll engage them and bring them on board. So.
I think from the look on your face, Heather, you were wondering if Faith has any openings.
Yeah, I was like, can I come be Faith's intern? I'm like, baby, how much vacation time? Does that work out? Is that a conflict of interest? No, that sounds so exciting. And I can tell you, I'm somebody who fell into insurance. It was a job, and somebody said, hey, I work here. We've got some job opportunities. And I was like, well, I have insurance. I can learn about it. And 17 years later, here I am. But it was one of those things that's a lot of people, at least our age, story. Like, you kind of fall into insurance unless you're legacy family into something, into the industry. But this generation doesn't see this as anything else than what Shane said a lot of times is, you just want me to sell something, right? You know, and not that that is not a fantastic career path. You know, agency and brokerage is incredibly exciting. But we as interest groups, and I know that there's a little bit of a concerted effort with some of the interest group leaders getting together right now to try to figure out the best ways. And I can't wait, because I'm part of that group, to take some of these ideas that you guys have given back to that group. And I'd invite every one of you to be a part of it, because we really are looking for ways to help to mentor and partner with colleges and universities, so that these risk management and insurance students are seeing the wide range of opportunities that are in front of them, and also so they're prepared to step into our industry. You know, how do you network with people in insurance? How do you interview for insurance? How do you, how do you get a mentor in insurance like Faith, who's going to, put you out and let you dig up and plant some trees, and go learn all about environmental insurance and learn how cool it is. So those are the things that we as interest groups, I believe, can do to really inspire this next generation. And being a professor now with risk management and insurance, in risk management and insurance at Illinois Wesleyan, I have all these finance students who I'm like, you just need to see, turn your head over there away from Wall Street for a minute. Insurance is really cool, and there's a ton of things you can do with your accounting and finance degrees in it. So anyway, good stuff. Yeah. Matt, what's your question? I've asked a lot of these questions tonight, so I'm gonna throw the next one to you.
I want to know physically what it looks like. Are you guys, when you came together in terms of the two interest groups coming together, how did that work? You have co-chairs right now, right? Between Faith and Vicky, but what was that process like? Was it just kind of having to triage and then kind of, figure out what to keep and what was redundant? Or, were there some other things that maybe, you hadn't been able to do anything in the past, and now that you're combining forces, you're kind of adding to it? I kind of want to get a sense of how that process has gone in terms of what this new combined entity is going to look like. Vicky, has Faith put the screws to you, or has it been pretty open and chummy in terms of the relationship there?
Yeah, I just want you to know, Matt, that this is a work in progress.
Sure.
We had two groups come together, and we started working probably about a year or so before January. And we started out with inviting each of the two groups to join the other group's leadership meetings. Most IGs meet 7 to 9 times a year, usually on an hour conference call, just to talk about the different activities that they're involved in. And so you kind of get an idea of what each of the IGs, what their style is. Because a lot of times interest groups are constantly and always looking for new folks to join the leadership committees. They bring new ideas. We have a lot of folks that have been on the IG and they want to go to a different IG. So turnover and looking for, new folks that want to lead and become involved in the IGs is a constant process. So the styles are different. We did that. We were trying to have a combined meeting. That didn't quite work out because COVID hit, and we ended up having a virtual into risk meeting as opposed to the in-person. And, I'm a big fan of grassroots efforts, meeting everybody in person. Didn't happen. So we ended up getting together later that year, usually at the fall conference meeting. And both IGs, as well as all the other IGs, create educational content for those sessions. We usually have a committee meeting during the fall get together, and we didn't have that. So it was later in the year, so we kind of started off January with just, okay, we're going to have meetings, and loss control and risk management, they both had mission statements. We kind of had working sessions for our meetings. Okay, what's redundant? What don't we
Yep.
have? Let's put them both up there together. So we've started to kind of merge everything together, looking at what each did, and the committee members that we have working on each of the different areas, articles for insights, any of the publications, webinars, the educational sessions, and trying to put those folks together. I know that Faith, a couple times, it just be her and I talking, and Faith's like, oh no, we can't have that. We got to get more involvement.
Yeah.
And so I think that as we continue to work throughout the year, and those are the types of things that we'll do, trying to work on. It wasn't just the IG coming together. The whole implementation task force came up with a new recognition. We have business plans, whereas we had Circle of Excellence before. So we're trying to, as the society transitions, we're trying to merge those groups together to transition. So I think we're well on the way, but yeah, it was a little different.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. How'd the process play out for you, Faith? Was it similar? Did what was your perspective kind of like heading into it and then kind of going through it?
My perspective, I guess, is a little different because since we're an agricultural cooperative, acquisitions and mergers are a common day. I mean, I've worked on so many mergers and acquisitions over the past 20 years, it's unreal. And it's always the same type of thing. You got two different groups, and how do you merge them together to get one group, right? Because you don't ever want an us versus them type thing going on.
Sure.
So part of it, we talked about in our group as well, is that the higher ups at CPCU, they thought this was a great thing. This is going to be successful. So they saw the goodness in all of us. So it's for us to decide and figure out what's the best part of both groups and bring them together. And again, get us all working as a team. Yeah. So, and I think as Vicki stated, it's like initially it's like people were afraid to talk because there's other people in the room. So then you got sort of like, we start with the team approach, and fortunately, we got Betsy Brewer, who's a great mentor. Yep. Every time that, we're hitting stumbling blocks, I call Betsy. I was like, okay, you got any ideas here again? Because in order to make the perfect happen or that best rainbow that everybody sees, that's how to figure out how we work as a team. And I think the synergies are really starting to pick up that I've noticed as people are actually being more open at the meetings and talking to each other. I'm not hearing the us versus them, so I think we're headed down the correct path.
Yeah. Well, the good news was there wasn't any downsizing, right?
Right. There's no downsizing. In fact, and maybe that's, when we're talking about student involvement, we have, our committee list, right? And then we have the friends of the committee list. And some of these are long-term friends, but they're people who like to participate in our meetings, hear what we're doing, actually assist with, different webinars and stuff we're putting on. And you don't have to be a CPCU to be on the friends list. So if there's any students or anything that are interested in being one of our friends, we can put them on our friends list. So that way they get the invitations to come to our IG meetings and to listen to it. And at that time too, they get engaged. And we have some people on our friends list that they'll jump over. And it's like when there's a committee slot open, they'll say, oh, can I apply? Yep. And so it's a great way to, bring people into our IG, get them involved in CPCU, and whether it's our IG or whether it's somebody else's IG, then they know there's opportunities out there.
No, that's awesome. That's fantastic. I love that. From your vantage, Shane, how did it play out? Were you affected very much or involved? How did it look?
As far as
yeah.
what we're doing, or Shane, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, from
didn't
Shane's
realize
perspective, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, look, it's as Vicky described, it's been a journey, and I think the journey continues. I think the good news is, and look, I would just to recognize Vicky was chair of the loss control interest group before we merged, so she was really on, and I was the loss control vice chair, so she was really steering the ship on that side, making this all happen. So I know she's worked hard to make this happen, and
Yep.
so Vicky. But
Good job.
Thanks, Jen.
and Faith has joined us now, and she's great to work
Willing
with.
partner. She's like, okay, what am I doing? Okay.
But
It
yeah, I
doesn't
thought
work
it was a
with
very
organizations, and okay, and so trying to provide some of that background with the IGs and historically, and I'm just kind of driving to make sure we hit deadlines and the dates and everything. But Faith has, been trying to merge this thing, get these people together, and they need to be saying more, So we're a work in progress. But go ahead, Shane.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
no. I was gonna say, but no. Look, I think it's there's certainly been it's like everything. It's a challenge. The good news is, I think that was not being able to meet in person and really kind of to help develop these relationships. I think it's probably this process has maybe taken a little bit longer for us to kind of build that synergy. The good news is, like, with the it was very much a collaborative effort between and continues to be with both groups now as one merged group. But the good news is hey, look, all the people on these interest group leadership committees, they're people who are proactive. They're there because they're engaged. They want to move the society, the insurance industry forward. So these are people that are looking for solutions, looking to do things in a positive way, looking to be collaborative in their efforts. So, that's been great to see. And if you're on this call and that being a part of a group like that sounds appealing to you, please reach out. We'd love to talk to you. But
Awesome.
But yeah, it's been a good experience. We're certainly learning, and I think with merged groups we were doing a lot of similar things, but some unique things as well. So I think being able to build on bringing the two groups together and being able to build on some of those unique strategies or activities that were going on has been interesting to see, and it's exciting too, being part of the leadership of the group. So.
I don't know, Vicky. It sounds like Shane got off light on this one.
Yeah. Then the consumer part of the merger, so he's kind of like the glue. He's got him in the background, but it's working. Good.
That's good.
Did Vicky just call you Elmer's, Shane?
Elmer's glue.
Glue.
No, just glue.
I've been called worse.
Glue. I thought you said glue. Like he's the glue together.
Not necessarily Elmer.
We're not brand loyal on this show. We don't get paid any royalties or anything. Don't worry about that. Go ahead, Heather. Which direction you want to go in now? I mean, now that we're talking about Elmer's glue, I mean, I don't know, but
yeah, no. I know. Obviously, there's been a big announcement today. We've got InterRisk registration available for anyone out there who's interested. I know you guys have spoken about past sessions that you have submitted for the InterRisk or annual meeting. Any topics on your mind right now that you think that are going to be shared at InterRisk this year that are around your space in risk management and loss control? I don't know that all the announcements have been out yet about all the people that have been selected or the speakers that have been selected or sessions that have been selected. But what's some of the things that you guys have maybe done in the past that have been of super interest to you, the sessions that have been submitted by your particular interest group?
Free range.
Free range, anybody.
You know, in the past sessions, this will be the first year that we will have. We submitted 3 sessions for InterRisk as a merge group, but
Awesome.
in the past, loss control has pretty much been working around safety and loss prevention, and some of that depended on the location of where the fall meeting was going to be held. And last year we did, because it was virtual, we did a walk on the wild side, an interactive virtual survey. Loss control professionals work a lot with underwriters and claims and everything. And just to level set, you know, when we actually do a loss control survey or a program, here's what we're looking for. So we're trying to do things to, you know, provide that education to encourage, you know, professional designations, you know, 30 certified safety professionals. There's also an ARM for risk management. And usually, you know, disasters, you know, we have a lot of things kind of in the works on those lines. So, Faith, I don't know. I don't remember what we've got, the titles, but I know we submitted the 3 sessions.
Yeah, we submitted 3. We've got one on business continuity, one on cybersecurity, cyber, and then eliminating data silos to reduce workers' liability. So we submitted 3. I haven't heard yet if any of the 3 have been selected yet.
Awesome. Well, the fact that you all got 3 submitted as a you know, newly combined IG is huge. That's fantastic. I love that. Were those things? So let me ask you this: were those things that were kind of in the mix before the merger and everything like that, or are those, you know, brand new, kind of like you know, brought up as this kind of like merged entity came together?
I think 2 of them were from before.
Okay.
They'd already been looked at and things. And we had other ones, but the issue that we had was getting our speakers to commit to go to October, you know, because they didn't know what their businesses or their employers are going to allow. That was the biggest difficulty that we ran into.
Yeah.
But
That's something
that we had commitments. Pardon?
Go ahead, Vicki.
I was going to say, I believe that that's a challenge this year, because even though we had 3 sessions submitted in the past, both IGs have at least had, you know, anywhere from 5 to 6 every year. The risk management IG last year had 15 webinars, you know, so we're lower as a merge group than we've been individual, but hopefully with the vaccinations and everything going, and hopefully we'll increase, you know, that we'll get more sessions, things will start to open up. We hope. I don't know, we might be in this hybrid type of where we are today, but yeah, we don't have as many as normal. Yeah.
Let me ask you that question, Shane. This actually came up earlier in my episode of Sell Like a CPCU. Myself and Precious were talking about the idea that hybrid events are probably going to be here to stay, or at least, you know, fully in-person events will probably change somewhat here into the future. Do you kind of foresee the same thing? I mean, is that something where, you know, you think there is going to be at least some portion of virtual life that now constantly intermingles itself with, you know, in person?
I believe that is the case, Matt. And I think, you know, just thinking from my own work experience going through this, my experience with CPCU, working through the pandemic, I think it's just really, you know, for myself, whereas before it might have been may felt more awkward to do something like this or a Skype meeting or Zoom meetings. Now that's just a commonplace, a couple of those a day now. So that's just the way business is done today. Do I think it's the end all be all and the solution to everything? No. I think there's probably a happy medium there, but say where, just thinking about how I worked in the past where it was, probably 70% in person versus just, posted conference calls, not a video call. But that's definitely changed. I think, people have, myself have gotten much more comfortable working in that space. There are some efficiencies to it. Certainly there's some cost savings linked to it, but I think I think we need to be careful about going all in on the all virtual all the time, because there's something to be said for meeting in, when the pandemic permits and it's safe, meeting in person, building those in-person relationships. That just has a different feel and flavor. I imagine everybody can resonate with that, but there's certainly some efficiencies that have been gained from having to work and live in this virtual environment that I don't expect to go away.
Yeah, most definitely. What do you want to get off your mind there, Heather? It looks like you're chomping at the bit.
Hey, we're kind of on that cusp of how we're going to have to figure out how to live in this hybrid world where there's going to be conferences where people are in person. And then, there's going to be a segment of those people who are out here in the virtual world, kind of tapping into the conference from their desktop. And, that's the challenge today, is trying to make that experience come together with those two groups. How do you connect those groups and not leave the virtual world people feeling like I'm just sitting here with a glass on the wall listening to the conversation that's going on in the next room, and I can't really, I don't really feel connected to it at all. So that I think is there's something to be said about that, Shane. The in-person piece of it is so important. But we've also got to think about the world where people are going to be living, tapping into insurance industry conferences in that hybrid format. And how do you get them connected? And as a quick, run home question, is that a charge for us as IGs to take on to figure out a way to make that happen with our annual meeting this year? Any thoughts on that at all?
Yeah, Heather, I agree. I think the reality is, it is what it is, right? This is the world we live in now. There's going to be I don't think the virtual piece is going away. It's going to be much more significant and prominent than it ever was in the past. And hopefully as technology progresses, there'll be, maybe we'll all have a hologram. Until that time, yeah, I agree. I think I feel like one of my primary roles is with the Risk Management and Loss Control Interest Group is to just promote engagement in CPCU, insurance, risk management, loss control in particular. And so if people are uncomfortable or unable to travel to meet in person, then I need to be able to helping promote ways to figure out how do we reach those people. Just like with the student engagement we were talking about earlier, if we want people to be engaged, we have to meet them where they are. I don't have the answer on how exactly we do that, but that's what we're.
You got to invent that virtual hologram presence device or whatever, Shane.
They're so real.
I might end my insurance career.
That's what we need. We need a hologram of Risk Management and Loss Control Interest Group. Put that right into your living room and say, don't you want to be more involved? We need you. We have something that think will benefit you. So come join us.
Yeah. Well, so let me give you a opportunity for self promotion. So where can if someone is currently either in the CPCU Society or they're curious, not in the CPCU Society but they're in the industry and they're curious, where can they find more information about y'all's interest group in terms of whether it's sessions you're putting out or just kind of to find some more about you all as well as how things are put together?
They can go on to Interact. We post our sessions on Interact. They can go there. They can, we've got the new LinkedIn page as well. So they can go on there and ask questions or whatever. And we also have, the website is not joined yet. It's still set up as two separate websites. Mm-hmm. But eventually we'll have a joined website. You can go any of those places. Do you think of anything else, Vicki? Or?
Yeah, I think those are the best ways. I know there are other ways. If you are on a local, belong to a local CPCU chapter, those are ways to learn about interest groups and to connect with us. And also, I believe that you can choose us as a favorite, preferred when you sign into your CPCU account. So you can always check us as primary. You can check all the interest groups that you might want to know more information about, and risk management and loss control is out there.
Yeah, I would just add to that, piggyback on what Vicki and Faith have said. If you're interested in hearing more regarding risk management, loss control, whether or not you want to engage in the group, you just want to stay up to date with what's going on in the interest group, what we're working on. Whenever you're selecting risk management, loss control as an interest group you want to be a part of, we'll make you part of our email list. And so, we'll be reaching out to you just to keep you updated on what risk management, loss control initiatives are we're working on, as well as opportunities to engage further if you'd like. Awesome.
Final questions, Heather? Statements, comments, questions?
I just want to say thank you all for joining us today. We went a spectrum of discussion today with, I wanted to go hop out and be an intern for Faith this summer to Elmer's Glue. So, but we really do appreciate you bringing your interest group to our show today, and can't wait until Orlando, because I'm going to make it there, and I hope to see all of you there as well.
Yeah. I'm actually, as soon as we conclude this broadcast, I will be going to the registration link myself to reserve my spot for in person. So, to all y'all's points, I am going to work as much as I can to make sure that the hybrid nature of that event is inclusive and accessible to people, even if they can't be there in person. I'm going to try and make sure that people have fun no matter what, right? Like, even if they're sitting at home at their desk with a glass of wine, laughing at me behaving like a moron in Orlando, I'll do whatever I need to. So, it should be a good time. But
I'm thinking TikTok videos, Matt. TikTok videos.
Hey, maybe we need, it worked for the... Yeah, and a hologram. Yeah, it worked for the nurses. Maybe we get like a CPCU Society flash mob dance going or something like that, and put it out on. That might be the only video on the TikTok, but we'll make it work. So with that, I want to thank everyone. Thank you very much. I know all of your time is very valuable, especially in the present day and age when you could probably work 24/7 in the current environment that we're in, and everything that's going on. So I want to say thank you very much, and we will be back next week, usual time, 5:30 on Wednesday. We'll have another great. I forget if we have someone lined up for next week. Do you happen to remember offhand, Heather?
I'm not sure if we do yet or not, Matt.
Give me 1 second. This is great production value, by the way. me checking my Outlook calendar. Oh, actually, you know what? We have Spencer, the brand new executive director for the CPU Society, will be on next week to chat. And I had a prep call with him earlier last week, and he put the screws to me. So he wanted to make sure what it was going to be all about and what we were going to be talking about and things like that. So I think that was fantastic. But no, it should be a really good episode. Next week, Wednesday, 5:30. This is How to CPCU. And with that, unless there's anything else, thank you very much, everyone. Have a good evening.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you, everybody. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.